welcome back to my channel, and today I am going to be sharing a super simple keto recipe. So today we're going to be making some delicious keto cheese bread. So this is totally keto friendly and it tastes absolutely phenomenal. So I have shared this recipe before in a vlog that I've done, but I made it again recently and I was like, this is just so good. I need to do a little bit of a standalone recipe video. This is going to be a super quick recipe. It only has 5 ingredients and it takes literally like 3 minutes to throw together. To start the recipe, the first thing you need to do is preheat your oven to 375 degrees. So the 5 ingredients you're going to need are some sharp cheddar cheese, some grated Parmesan cheese, and some mozzarella cheese, as well as 4 eggs. And lastly, some slices of jalapenos. I buy the nacho jalapeno slices because in my opinion, they just taste the absolute best. So that's all you need for this recipe. So let's go ahead and hop right in. So to start this recipe, you're going to need a big bowl to mix everything in. And then I like to use one of these spatulas that allows you to like scrape so you can get everything mixed together very easily. To start, I have my bowl right here, but I have it sitting on my food scale. I like to use my food scale to measure out my cheese just because it's so easy and I don't have to dirty anything trying to measure it. This recipe calls for a cup of each type of cheese, and a cup of cheese is 112 grams. So I'm going to start off by adding 112 grams of my sharp cheddar. And now a cup or 112 grams of my shredded mozzarella cheese. And lastly, a cup of my grated Parmesan cheese. So now I just have a big old bowl of my 3 cheeses. Up next, I'm going to add 4 eggs into my cheese. For just a little extra flavor, I'm going to go ahead and add this kind of like all-purpose Italian seasoning. So it's got basil, oregano, garlic, and sea salt in it. So I'm just going to add a little bit into my cheese and egg. And now you just mix your cheese and eggs together until the eggs coat all of your cheese. It took me about a minute to get this cheese and egg all mixed together. And this is the base of our bread. I have a cookie sheet that I've lined with parchment paper right here. And this is what we're going to put our bread on. And I use parchment paper because it doesn't stick. So it just makes it a lot easier since you're working with cheese. I highly recommend the parchment paper. And parchment paper, not wax paper. I've seen a couple people make that mistake. It must be parchment. Now I am just taking my little cheese and egg mixture and making it into little balls on the parchment paper. And you can kind of adjust this to your liking. You can do bigger balls, you can do smaller balls, just depending on what you're using them for. I like to use this as a side with dinner. If we're having something like steak and vegetables, I'll make these kind of small so they can be a side with dinner. Or you can make them a little bit larger and make them into hamburger buns, which is delicious as well. Now that I've plopped these into piles on this sheet, what I'm going to do is go in with my hands and make them a little bit neater, because right now they're kind of like misshapen. There's a little bit of cheese everywhere. So now I just go in with my hand and just kind of make them into a little bit flatter and a little bit more in a circular shape. We've got these formed into nice little circles and they're just about ready to go in the oven. If you want just normal cheese bread, you can stick them in the oven now, but I highly recommend adding in these jalapeno slices on top because it just kicks the flavor up a notch and they are so, so good. I like to add 2 to 3 jalapeno slices per little cheese mound just because it gives it so much flavor. Don't be afraid to drip a little juice on top of these as well because it just gives it more flavor. It's so good, y'all. So, so good. All right, our keto jalapeno cheese bread is ready to go in the oven. I'm going to cook it at 375 degrees for about 15 to 20 minutes or until they start to brown. It could take a little bit longer than that since some of these are pretty big, but 15 to 20 minutes is usually about how long it takes. Real quickly, I had to show y'all my naked beau. Someone got a haircut yesterday and he got totally shaved, but he still has the cute little fluffy ears. And he's shaking because I have a treat. Oh, there's your treat. But look at him, he's so naked. He went from looking cute to an old grumpy man. All right, back to the recipe. Right at about 20 minutes, I pulled out my jalapeno cheese bread. I did have a couple of them that kind of cooked together, but that's totally fine. You can just cut them. And that's solely due to the fact that my little cookie sheet is kind of small, but it's the only one I have. So it is what it is. They're just not going to be perfectly circular, and that doesn't bother me because they're going to still taste delicious either way. Right, my little handy dandy helper? Yeah. I let my cheese bread cool for about 5 minutes and I've got my delicious little jalapeno cheese bread ready to go. You can eat it alone, you can use it as hamburger buns like this, you can add them as a side dish to dinner, but oh my gosh, they are just so, so good. The jalapenos just make a world of difference in this recipe. You can even add more than 4 jalapenos to these if you want some super spiciness to them. They've got the crunchiness on the bottom and then the little bit of like chewiness on top to die for. You've got to give this recipe a go. Well guys, thank you so much for watching today's video. I really hope that you enjoyed this jalapeno cheese bread recipe. It is such a simple recipe with such a big, delicious, tasty payoff. It is one of my favorite go-to side dishes for dinner because it literally tastes like you're having some cheese bread with dinner. So good. If you enjoyed this recipe and want some more simple keto recipes, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe to my channel down below if you haven't already done so. And I will be back again real soon with another video. Bye guys! Mwah!